The European Union and China signed an alliance agreement, and the World Health Organization started a fake inquiry into Beijing. Hello everyone and welcome to the second video of the day. We have some update from Beijing and Brussels, the two bad B words that we have in the world. So you remember back in May, after the whole lockdown situation started, the EU ambassadors wrote a letter, sent it to Beijing, to the CCP, begging them basically to be their friends. They said the European Union and China should be allies. We should cooperate. In the middle of all this chaotic situation that started at the beginning of 2020, when the US government decided to stay away from China, and then even the UK government and Boris Johnson, with all the flaws, even they decided to stay away and even ban Huawei and 5G, well, Huawei's 5G from this country. These guys decided to become friends with China. Now they have reached an agreement and they're very close now to signing this new pact that they have.
Well, we are working very intensively with China on comprehensive agreement on investment. And indeed, work is in very advanced stages. We had a very productive last round of negotiations.
The latest that we have from AFP is that the European Union have now given the green light to the Commission and from all the other countries to start this investment and cooperation agreement with China, despite all the issues. Now, the timing is interesting, and even this article is going to talk about how Joe Biden and the US elections definitely had an impact on this. So EU member states have given their political backing to Brussels, and they're planning investment pact with China. This happened on Monday, yesterday. This is going to clear the way for a deal between the world's biggest economic blocs. I mean, considering that Brexit is now happening, the UK is going to be independent and sovereign. Clearly, the European Union are trying to find a new friend. Now, at a meeting of the ambassadors, they've said that there has been no stop sign that's been raised by any of the countries, and the diplomats have noted the recent positive developments in the negotiations. Now, I don't understand the exact point of this. This agreement is going to be about the infrastructure, technology with Huawei, and all the investment that the Chinese firms are going to be throwing in Europe. The same thing that they've done in Africa. They've taken over Africa. They've also taken over Iran financially. The European Union, in the name of wanting to find a new friend, they are inviting the worst group of people, the Chinese government, CCP. Now, what the fascinating part of it is that the US elections happened recently. The chaotic situation in China with the camps and everything else, clearly the European Union don't care. Now, while Chinese firms are believed to be set for easy access to energy markets and infrastructure, the UK has distanced itself from China in recent years. As I said, Huawei is now being banned from the UK. Even Tory backbenchers have been very critical when it comes to the Beijing regime because of the camps and because of it. Not just that. I mean, when you have essentially modern slavery in China still going on, it's not really modern, really. They're still doing it in a very traditional way. And a lot of other problems that the Chinese government have, they don't respect human rights. They don't respect actual free market capitalism either. What they have in that country, they've technically embraced capitalism as a system, but they've created this crony corporatist model that is going to damage the whole world. And when people like Donald Trump talked about this years ago, people laughed at him. Now they know that was actually, in fact, true. Now, the problem continues because Brexit is now going to be completely finished by the end of 2020, and the European Union definitely think that they need new allies. In the middle of all this, Australia, who've been very outspoken against the CCP, are calling for the World Health Organization to have an inquiry. They've been doing this for a few months. The WHO are now starting this inquiry. So, well done, I guess. But no, don't be too optimistic, because this is still the same WHO that's in a pocket of the Chinese Communist Party with all the investment and the involvement that they have. And what they've decided to do is that whilst Australian government, because of the Australian MPs who kicked off in Parliament to actually start this, when you have other countries like New Zealand not getting involved for obvious reasons, I'm going to explain why in a minute, WHO are just doing this fake inquiry to keep everybody happy. So this has now happened. The Australian system and the whole establishment are encouraging all the countries to engage openly with this evaluation process. Now, this is now being led by this committee, and the co-chair, well, the two co-chairs that they have are the former president of the Republic of Liberia and the former prime minister of New Zealand. The two countries that have had massive investment and involvement from China in the last decade or so. So China have been very much involved in Liberia and New Zealand. Same reason that New Zealand decided not to criticize the Chinese Communist Party since January 2020, when all the other so-called Five Eyes and all the big countries, including the UK, Australia, and others, decided to speak out. New Zealand were just not available. Well, they were present, but not involved. And now they're doing the same thing again. So these two are supposed to be co-chairing this inquiry. Yeah, good luck with the result. There's absolutely no point in having the World Health Organization starting an inquiry into themselves, basically, considering WHO and China go hand in hand. Now, going back to the European Union situation, CTAM are reporting that beyond Brexit and everything else going on, Europe is in crisis thanks to the European Commission and Brussels, because you've got the economic crisis, you've got this unity, the so-called fantasy of families of Europeans haven't actually worked, and they want to have this EU defence union. No one knows exactly what the plan is properly because they can't even convince themselves. This article is actually talking about how Macron, who is very ambitious to have this EU defence union, even he doesn't know exactly if it should be primarily through the European Union or NATO, because ultimately every country has different priorities. Now, France and their system, they have the capability to actually lead this defense union, but other big countries like Germany and Spain and Italy haven't spent that much on the defense anyway, so they don't really have the capability. So it's going to be France leading this, and so that's the one problem with the European Union as a project that are struggling. You have the economic crisis as well, where OECD obviously has assessed the situation across the continent, and they're thinking that countries like Italy and Portugal will be in huge trouble in the next few months. So 2021 for European countries not going to be the best, and it's all thanks to Brussels and their mismanagement. We know the whole situation with Pfizer, when you had the UK as an independent nation rolling it out, and then even US and other countries. Most countries and continents started doing it. The EU were the last. And you had Remainers tweeting and saying that we should always be part of the European Union because cooperation, especially with medical issues. And they also tweeted this crazy thing about the anti-tax avoidance, how the European Union introduced it, and now we've left the EU. I mean, as I said in yesterday's video, we introduced the same measure back in 2015, before the European Union. So don't rely on the EU being your best friend or being actually competent when it comes to anything. So that's the latest update we have. This issue with the new alliance between the European Union and China will definitely escalate, and this channel will definitely focus on it in 2021. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, definitely click on the subscribe button. But also just a heads up, end of the year, New Year's Eve, we're going to have a special episode. We're going to have 2020 Looking Back episode, where we're going to have a number of special guests, Brandon O'Neill, Isabel Oakeshott, and Lawrence Fox, who will join me and Lacey to discuss the whole year. So it's going to be a very, very happy and positive show, I'm guessing, with all the good news that's happened in 2020, from lockdown and China and Joe Biden and Australia's fire and my hair that got really big in the first lockdown is happening again. A lot of bad things happen. So we're going to discuss all that, just not my hair. So don't forget to actually tune in for that show as well. And if you're not a member, make sure to get a membership. We got a lot of new perks as well. And after this video, I'm going to have my Zoom video calls with the members of the channel. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tousi, and I'll see you guys in the next video.